The focal point of my world are the rivers and the waterways that run through my land, but would anyone actually use these rivers if there wasn't a clear entrance? And so this highlights a huge issue, which is that the coastline has nothing on it except for this dusty, dirty little old dock. So in this video, a not just decorative but functional fishing village seems super fun to make and very appropriate to clean up this coastline. After a little bit of a break from this world, I cannot wait to get back to building, so let's get going. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Forever World. I am very sorry that I left you for so long. I did unfortunately get a little bit of a cold. It seems to be going around in the country that I'm in at the moment, and I was just very ill at the time, and I wanted nothing less than to come and play Minecraft. I kind of just wanted to sleep, I'm not gonna lie. I love Minecraft to bits, and I absolutely didn't want to burn myself out by playing when I truly just needed to rest a little bit and take a step back. So I did the sensible thing, took a step back, and now we're ready to go. If you didn't stop by last episode, we made this lovely little cabin right here. I absolutely love how this thing turned out. We also made this very scenic tree over here, and what it's done is just painted a lovely little picture on this this cliffside here. But the true purpose of this build is all happening on the inside, and it is the XP farm that we made with loads of armadillos tucked up away in there. And yeah, what a great addition that was to the world. There was some comments though that said I should have done some sort of interior in here because I've just made a pretty shell but not actually, you know, done anything in here except for the farm. I could not agree more. It's a common thing where people dodge interiors, and I am included in that group. So before we do anything, all I want to do is just make sure that this interior is done. Okay, the interior is now done. It is super basic. We just have a few differing floor heights, a couple of items to fill the space. The upstairs is definitely a lot prettier than the downstairs. There's nothing going on downstairs, but the upstairs I do quite like. I'm going to absolutely be trying to make interiors on most, if not all, of my builds now, because it does seem pointless making a build and not making an interior. If we're going for an immersive world, then interiors are a must. So now that we have got this interior out of the way, let's head over to that coastline that we were talking about, which is where we're going to be spending most of our time today. As I said, the waterways in our world are definitely the focal point, or the part that I love the most. I don't even know if they're the focal point. They're just the part that I think I'm centering my world around, you know, with bridges, things on the, whatever you call this, things on like the banks of the river. So we've got bridges, we've got, you know, paths on the banks, these trees on the banks, another bridge, this on the bank as well. So it definitely sparked the idea in my head. If we have got boats in this world, if we have got boats in this world, then we want to invite them into the area. And currently, this is not looking very inviting. I mean, the upside down boat right on the entrance is definitely not inviting ships in. This coast absolutely needs a revamp. We have a bit of a dock going on here, which I made in a previous video. I don't know if you've seen that one, but I just kind of made it on a whim. It's not great. I'm not going to get rid of it just yet because this is the coastline that needs the most attention, as there is absolutely nothing on it and it's pretty dang ugly. We are going to be spending our time building in this area, but obviously the first thing that we need to do, which is what we always seem to need to do, is clear the trees that are covering the area. Let's get that done. Look, I'm not one for deforestation, but something about clearing a whole forest of trees in Minecraft is very satisfying. I hope you're enjoying the more chill vibes of this video. I'm enjoying just getting back into the swing of things by... Ooh, Nautilus. Look at that. I'm enjoying just taking my time on this project, getting back into the swing of things, so yeah, let's get going. Now that that is done though, we have another pretty satisfying task, which is resource gathering and filling up the... We're going to be filling up the shulker boxes that we'll need for today's build. Oh my word, those little replay shots do not do it justice of how long this took. This might not look like much, but this is the list that I've been working with, and behind each one of these 15 pages of green bars, there are materials that I needed to gather. In these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 shulker boxes. These shulker boxes are full to the brim with all of the blocks that we're going to need. Yeah, that took a while. No, 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 no! Don't kill Nathaniel. You good, bro? I'm gonna heal you up. I don't want you dying. Okay, I'm pretty sure it is like this. And like this. Yes. How long does this take? Okay, I don't know how long this takes. I thought it was instant. We'll come back to you. Apart from the materials, I also did want to get started on getting rid of some of the terrain that we don't need. And currently, this looks like an abomination. It looks like a bomb has hit this coastline. I've torn out a lot of the blocks that we don't need. Oh, Nathaniel's done. I've torn out a lot of the blocks that we don't need, so it looks a little bit like a war zone at the moment. So let's move Nathaniel and then we will come sort that out. Hello, freshly cured. Right, I want to move you somewhere safe. I think that if we just use beds, we can get him inside, like that, and he will pathfind to the bed is what I'm hoping. Okay, never mind. Okay, where can we rehome Nathaniel? I'm thinking that we pop you inside the fisherman hut. Sorry, I said fisherman hut. This is our sugarcane hut. I think for now I'm just going to leave you here. You are safe. That is all we need at the moment. And then in the future, we will make you somewhere special to live. You're a day one Nathaniel. I'm not gonna just leave you here. Okay, but as I said, what we need to do now is tidy up this terrain because it looks absolutely disgusting. In the country that I'm in, it is currently the hottest day of the year so far, and so turning on my PC does make it feel like I'm sat inside a volcano. Because it's so warm where I'm at, I set a goal today to just sit down, grind out a build session to get the foundation of this build sorted, and then next time we sit down on a cooler day, we can start on the main builds in this area. As I said, this area is a mess, so getting down the foundation of sand and dirt and these wooden beams as well and the mud pathways, it made what once looked like a plane crash site start to come together into some sort of build, and I'm excited to make the next few builds in the area now. I did get a little bit carried away with detailing, but it's all good because I'll show you around that now. Oh wait, no, I forgot to make this. Yep, that is much better. Now that we have got these paths down, I am feeling so much better about the whole place. Obviously, yes, there are blank spaces where the builds are going to go, but at the moment, the place just feels so much better than it did because we have these foundations in place. I've even got a little diving board, which I like. The highlight here, though, is definitely the beach, and this is where I'm talking about going a little bit overboard. I did all the rock formations, and I did some of the decorations on the actual beach as well. I thought this little dock here as well was just such a lovely place to fish. I'm gonna get a nice fishing rod in this barrel and then we can just sit here and fish. As a whole though, this area is, as we said, to invite the boats into the land and create a bit of an entrance. But also something that I've realised whilst we've made this is that I want to make a guardian farm in the future for things like prismarine, and this is right here. If we make a guardian farm in the future, it's going to sit right in the viewpoint of this dock in this village. And so that is going to be a very cool project for the future. Now that I've made this kind of foundation, I definitely have an itch to get building some of the main buildings in the area. What I've got in my head is that there's going to be 3 main builds. The one here is going to be a bit of a fisherman's hut. There's going to be a lighthouse up here, which is the main focal point of the area. And then right next to the diving board, where there's this little side area here, there's going to be a boathouse where we can store any boats in the area, or at least make it look like we're storing boats. The tricky part now though is deciding which building I'm going to start on, and I think I've landed on doing the boathouse first. You know, all my buildings seem to have some sort of farm in them nowadays, and so these buildings are definitely going to be useful. It sort of saddens me a little bit if I'm making a build and I'm never going to use it in the future, so every build that we're going to make is going to have some sort of farm and is going to have some sort of use. And on that basis, I've decided to do the boathouse first, because in it is going to be a seagrass farm, which is not a very flamboyant or fancy farm. It is quite simple, but don't get me wrong, the build that I have planned is very cool. All of these farms are going to be sea related or farming some sort of material that comes from the water, so we're keeping on theme. You can probably guess from that at least one of the other two farms that I've got planned, but that is for later. For now, we're going to focus on this boathouse. That is a pretty good start. So let's head inside and have a little look. So I love this functionality of it. I love being able to just drive in and then hop out. This is the day one boat, so I'm going to make sure I take this with me. But yeah, the functionality of it is great because I actually will use this. I will drive boats into here and then I can go on about my day and I can get up to the mainland very easily. And to give some continuity as well in the world, you'll notice that this build is very similar to our day one cane hut. I do think it's nice having these similar buildings on each side of the river. It's almost like the same builder in the past has made, well, I am the builder. But you know what I mean? It's almost like the same person has made these two houses. The local builder, I don't know. It makes it feel very immersive. I like that. But also, if we head on inside, we'll skip past this for a second. We've got a little house area for whoever does live here. The upstairs is very crowded. But then heading downstairs, we have what I was telling you about, which is the seagrass farm. Seagrass is literally everywhere. I can see loads of it there. So is kelp as well. And this little patch here would probably be more than enough for any project that I have. But something about harvesting the land when I don't have to feels very wrong. So instead we will make a renewable farm such as this. So we don't have to touch the environment at all and we can just hop in here. I don't even need seagrass, this is just very satisfying. But from this farm we can get all the seagrass we need. Yes, we do need to keep making bone meal, but that's not an issue with the moss farm we have over there. It's super easy, it's just an observer, a dispenser, it detects when I break this block and it plants another one. Super easy. And that farm ties together this boathouse very nicely. It gives it a purpose other than just storing boats. It includes a farm, so we will be going in there in the future if we ever do need seagrass. I'm not going to take it from the sea, we will just take it from our farm here. And this, I think, is a lovely first building to start off our area. And so next we are going to work on something completely on the other side of the bay. If we come all the way around to the left hand side, what I want to add very quickly, it's not going to be difficult, is a little forest area on top of here, and we're going to have a lovely little bench overlooking the water. Hold this position here, I will be back. And we now have a forest. Yes, I know these are just vanilla trees, but I did that on purpose because it blends into this big vanilla forest over to the left. If any of you are very angry with this in the comments, please do let me know, and I might consider making some custom trees in this area because it would look better probably. But for now, we have a nice quaint little forest, a lovely little bench here to sit on, and we are good to go. I am thinking though, for a sailing town, these waters are looking very empty, so I think our next job is to cook up some boats in this little bay. I've never made a boat, so this should be interesting. Okay, I think that's a little better. I'm sat on my little sun lounger here and look what I have spotted. The cutest little fish. Look at him. Okay, that's a pufferfish. For everyone who didn't know, That is a pufferfish. Okay, anyway, you will notice in these little boats that they're... Stay away from that. You'll notice in these little kayaks that there are actual boats in the centre that someone can sit on. Obviously, the thing can't move, but we can give that immersion of it moving if we were to put some sort of mob into these boats so they can just sit here forever. I think the obvious thing to do here is to put some villagers in these boats, and so if we want to do that, what we'll have to do is travel out to Buffer Island, which is quite far away, over to the villager breeder. We'll round up a couple of villagers and we will bring them back via boats. I'm telling you, this whole world connects with water. We can do that. So let's go grab some villagers. Now that I'm coming back over here, I'm noticing that there is a lot of open space. If there's anything that you can think of that I can do on this island, just let me know and we will we'll fill it up. But for now, what we need is 2 villagers. We temporarily deactivated this farm, but there should be some villagers hidden down here. Let's see what we're working with. Okay, this should hopefully work. Okay, I think if I hit this button again, it's just gonna make matters even worse. Let's try. Oh, that might have just worked. I was really not expecting that. Is there 2? Oh my god, that actually worked. Okay, let's go. There's 2 villagers up here. I didn't bring any rails with me. Let me go get rails. Okay, we have rails, and now it should be pretty easy to get these guys out. Okay, and we have a bit of a temporary rail line set up, so this guy should float along it. Or not. Go, go, go. All the way to the sea. Please don't drown. And then if we be very careful using F3 and B, take you out of there. You're not going to get in? No? You're just going to stand on top. There we go. There's 1 in. Ideally, we'll get this done before any zombies come outside as well. Last one coming in now. Break you out. Okay, let's... Oh, Jesus. Actually, no. I think this is fine. Because of new mechanics, we can just go like that. Yes! Oh, okay. That is actually a great new mechanic. Now, if we go F3B once more, we can break our boat and then try and carefully break the villager's boat like that. And then somehow get these guys into these little kayaks. They're a little bit helpless right now because they're just in the middle of the ocean. So I think that we can just push them over there and they should end up in. Yes, they do. Look at that. That is brilliant. Oh, that is brilliant. I love it. I love it so much. Okay, if we get you over here to your kayak. All right, I need to take a proper look at this. I am kind of worried that drowned are going to kill them, because if drowned spawn, then they will just go for these guys, or even zombies on this part of the land. I don't know if that's going to be an issue. If it is, it is. I just know they're going to die. Villagers are difficult. I know that they're going to... I don't even... Okay, he's fine. Obviously, we've got the boathouse over there, which I think looks great. Was a good first addition to the area. So now we're going to switch over to this corner, which we've been working on. And we're going to make the fisherman's hut, which is going to go right here. And I'm not going to tell you what farm is going to go in there. Have a little guess if you want now, but we know that it's going to be sea or water themed. So yeah, we have a lovely little seaside homely build, which we're going to start making now. And I will come back to you very shortly once it is done. It is such a nice feeling when a build starts coming together. This little passageway I absolutely love. Originally you could only get through the corners or the sides, and you had to go all the way around the side to get in. So I just thought, let's just bulldoze through it, make a lovely little passageway with some graffiti on the walls, and that was a great addition. And now for the fisherman's hut of sorts. I absolutely love the interior. We've used the space very well, even though we've managed to tuck this farm away in the corner, which I'll show you in a second. The space still feels very open because of this here, where you can see all the way up to the ceiling, and you have these lovely plants flowing from the top floor to the bottom floor. The upstairs as well is looking lovely. We've got a little bedroom for whoever lives here and access to the farm this way. And I don't know if you've guessed, but this farm is actually a sea pickle farm. It took a little bit of faffing about because I am not the most redstone minded person. It did break a few times, but we managed to get it fixed. If we flick this lever down here, it just starts going crazy and making loads of sea pickles. The only thing is it's one of those farms where we do... Jeez, shut up. Right. It is one where we're going to need bone meal again, so we'll definitely end up making a bone meal farm soon. Now, moving on from this room, this passageway is very unique. It is a way to get from the fisherman's hut to the lighthouse, which we're going to build next. Would this not be so cool to have? Just to have, you know, the passageway between two spaces just be grass or moss and wildflowers. It's lovely. And all this glass and natural lighting just makes it grow on its own. It feels very open. I love this little passageway between these two spaces. The inspiration for this build was actually a film called The Lighthouse, and it's one that I'm going to watch soon. I haven't even watched it, but the images that I saw of the lighthouse in that film were beautiful. It was very inspiring, and so I wanted to make this whole entire build like that. You don't really see a long passageway like this from one build to another, but you did in that reference image that I had. This little fishing town is coming together very nicely, and so without further ado, we have one build left, and it can't be a fishing town without it. We're not going to wait any longer, and we're now going to make the lighthouse. Bonus points as well if you can guess the farm that we're going to make. You got 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay, let's go. I am very happy to say that our lighthouse is finally complete. I'm just so glad that we've finally got an entranceway to our area. It's not this ugly coastline anymore, and instead it feels like the entrance to an actual town. And once we start to fill up the village behind this coastline, the whole thing will just come together nicely because we have an entrance to this area now. Obviously there's that front sight line of the lighthouse, but also whilst we're over here, which is where we spend most of our time, we have a lovely view of this lighthouse in the distance. Even back over this end of the island on this massive hill that we've got next to the map room, you can see it, and it's a bit of a beacon in the area. It actually feels very much like nostalgic Minecraft to have one tall, long building in your area, you know, so you can just pick out your area from absolutely miles away. If I ever get lost, this thing is guiding me home. But heading inside, we'll start from the bottom around here. Heading into this main entranceway, we have the bottom floor, which is where you can access the kelp farm. Go one more floor up, and we've used this exposed sort of feeling, which I like using when I build farms and put a build around the farm. I don't want to just bury the farm underground, you know, it seems a bit pointless making a pretty shell if the farm isn't, you know, noticeably in it, if that makes sense. I really like having them on show. So you can see it, you can access it. Oh god. So you can see it, you can access it down here if you did have to replace any broken kelp. I'm gonna drown. And we go one more floor up, and we have the entranceway from our grassy alleyway. There isn't much going on down here, but if we come all the way to the top floor, we have our lighthouse residence, and finally 360 access to everywhere in my world. It's a bit of a tight squeeze, but you can see everything. And with that, the village is done, and every build has a use. Everything is practical with a farm inside, so I'll definitely be using this area. It won't just get forgotten about. And now for literally the best bit of the video, it is updating our maps, which should update in real time. Oh, that is so satisfying. As I've said in previous videos, if you do have any name suggestions for the fishing village that we are in, please do let me know and I'll be looking through those because we definitely need to name this place so it will show up on our map, in our map room. Where is it? 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 All I've got to say now is thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for watching. It is much appreciated. I'm looking forward to the next build in this world already. Don't know what it's going to be, but I'm looking forward to it. I do hope that it was a relaxing watch. I hope you enjoyed. If you have fallen asleep, here are some relaxing wind chime noises. And without further ado, we will end this one here, and I will see you, hopefully, in the next video. Goodbye.